Hello, and welcome to Vacation Station, hosted by Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazines.com.
Welcome to Big Blend Radio's Vacation Station Travel Show with Nancy and Lisa. We're the crazy mother-daughter travel team on our Love Your Parks tour, where we travel full-time, documenting parks and public lands and getting all kinds of cool stories about the communities that they're in. And we also publish Big Blend Radio and TV magazine and Parks and Travel magazine, both digital interactive publications. You can see them all at bigblendmagazines.com. And today, as part of our Fall Festival series, we're going to chat with Chris Temple from Erie-Pennsylvania. Nancy and I just spent 4 awesome nights at the Spencer House Bed and Breakfast in Erie on Millionaire's Row, right, Nancy? I mean,
I got very accustomed to being on Millionaire's Row.
I know. But Erie-Pennsylvania is awesome. You've got so much history from, the Battle of 1812 or the War of 1812 to Civil War history, Revolutionary War history, the Industrial Revolution, which created Millionaire's Row. You've got Presque Isle State Park, Asbury Woods. I mean, it's just like it's nature, it's history, tons of public art. It's beautiful, and you should go. So check out visiterie.com, and that is where Chris works. And welcome, Chris. How are you?
Thank you. I'm very happy that you guys reached out to me. I love talking about our area. You did a great summation. You should come work for us.
Okay. Well, we loved Erie. We'd love to come back. And, we were at the tail end of summer and going into fall, and we could already see some of the leaves were changing in Presque Isle State Park, which that has got to be, I would say, one of the best state parks in the country. I think it deserves national park status, to be real honest.
Thank you.
I don't want to take away from state parks because they're awesome, and we love all parks here. But that is national park status, I would think, Nancy. Wouldn't you say, Nancy, from what we learned, just the biodiversity and the history? It should
it's
be, and
fascinating.
the recreation.
It's just, and we really we had so much fun there. I'm like, I could live there.
Yeah, we could live there.
I tell you, Presque Isle State Park is just, it's our top attraction in the Erie area. It is, and I agree with you, it is absolutely beautiful. I know a lot of people can boast about their own beaches and, water recreation, but Presque Isle State Park is very unique to our area. Not only that, but being located on one of the Great Lakes gives us an edge because you don't usually get to see a body of water like that unless you're at the ocean.
Exactly. And that's exactly what you feel like you are. You feel like you're at the ocean.
You do.
Seagulls. Seagulls are everywhere.
Yes. Lots of seagulls. But the one thing we don't have and that we're proud of are saltwater and sharks. So you're good to go at Presque Isle.
That's a good idea.
You can swim.
Good point.
Yeah. So
yes.
Shark Week, you're not part of that. You're not part of Jaws nipping at your ankles.
No, actually, it's funny that you say that. We did a promotion a few years back that actually played off of the fact that we did not have sharks in Lake-ERie, and we ran a lot of spots during Shark Week on the Discovery Channel, so we got a lot of play from it.
That's funny. It is. And then, you've got Presque Isle, which, I say it's like you guys got swamp water. I never thought that would happen. I mean, you're just across the pond from Canada, and you can see Canada in certain areas. We went out, Randy took us around all the vineyards, out in the, Lake-ERie area, and we went up on the top of this hill, and you could just see all these vineyards. And then you could see Presque Isle, a piece of it in some areas, and you could see Lake-ERie. And if you looked off way in the distance, there was Canada. And I was like, this is some crazy coolness right here. I mean, that's amazing. But the topography, how it is so diverse, that's what's so cool. You feel like you're in a different place every time you turn around. There's a unique view.
Yes, absolutely. I would say, and I'm guessing that your tour took you on Route 5, which is the Great Lakes Seaway Trail, and it's an America's byway, and it runs parallel with the shoreline. So there are some views, particularly in the area of a little town called Northeast Pennsylvania, out where the wineries are. There are some beautiful viewpoints where you can see, like you said, the lush vineyards, the shore. You can see on a good clear day, you can see over to Canada. But the Great Lakes Seaway Trail is just another aspect of our area that just makes it that much more unique.
Oh, so that, because we drove to Erie from Fenton, Michigan, and it was really beautiful in certain areas. I mean, it was just like, wow, this is like a cool, I would do this drive. And we kept seeing signs for some kind of trail, and even in the downtown area between Spencer House and going to Presque Isle, we were like, what's this all about, and didn't even have time. We were so busy. Like, we do have to come back, I'm just saying, because I would move there in a heartbeat because it's so neat.
You guys kind of hit the tip of the iceberg, but actually Presque Isle is part of the Seaway Trail. So you may have seen some signage around there too. The Seaway Trail goes from the Ohio-Pennsylvania border. It's 504 miles, goes all through Pennsylvania and then into New York as far as Sackett's Harbor. So there's a lot to see on that trail. I mean, it's a scenic byway, so it goes through a lot of little towns and, of course, the wineries, the vineyards, and lighthouses and little restaurants and shops. And it's a lot nicer than taking your typical interstate drive.
Yeah, no, cool. I know. That was cool because when we arrived, we actually arrived on my birthday, and we went out and caught the the sunset. We arrived, got set up and toured the mansion that it is at Spencer House. And then we went out to catch the sunset at Presque Isle. And that would talk about quality of life. People were skipping rocks. People were just walking their dogs, cycling. It was like, it is like the epitome of a beach community. I felt like I was at the coast. And just with the little restaurants and shops on the way in, I don't know, it felt like you were in a community, it was kind of like, old school touristy, kind of like the fun stuff that you like, that fun stuff as a kid. You want candy, cotton candy kind of thing. And then here's this community feel where it just kind of felt like everybody was drawn to the lake. Like that was the community, like immediately.
It is, and I believe that, and even more so during the pandemic, that is one of the places, first of all, that remained open throughout all of this craziness.
Oh, wow.
And it's a perfect outdoor getaway where you can easily social distance yourself from other people, whether you're on the beach, on one of the trails, if you're, boating or birding or whatever. There's so much space that it doesn't feel like you're in the city. You're right. It feels like you're in a little, touristy, beachy place. But the nice thing about Presque Isle State Park is not only is it free to enter, it's also open year round. So it's not just a summer destination. We see people there all seasons.
That's cool.
I'm glad you said that. I know this is our fall festival right now, but the one thing that everyone kept telling us is Erie is year round. And I think, from us being on the west, coming from the desert, I'm like, dude, I know you got snow. I don't know about that. But from what we heard, it's like, don't shirk off winter. Don't think, spring. Still come up. There's so much to see and do, and it's just a really unique, magical experience. I use the word magical. Can you give us like an overview of what it is like? Start with fall because it's fall, and
Sure.
through what it's like for the 4 seasons.
Sure. So as far as fall goes, I'd say primarily people like to come up, especially if they're not from the north, to experience the fall foliage and the changing of the leaves. Typically around our neck of the woods, that happens mid to late October, and mostly because we're protected by Lake-ERie. So we tend to be one of the last areas in the state that turns full color. But once it does, whether you're at Presque Isle State Park or traveling on the Seaway Trail, the colors are just absolutely gorgeous. There are over I think I read there's over 34 different varieties of trees that are native to Pennsylvania, and they all have a different mix of their own color, which is kind of cool. So there's different areas you can go to in our area for that. But with fall in Erie, things don't come to a grinding halt once the beaches close. When the beaches do close, then things like, the wineries start picking up, or the craft breweries along the Lake-ERie Ale Trail start to get busy. We have a lot of farmers markets where you can go and pick your own apples and blueberries and grapes and things like that. So there's a lot to do with the changing of the season. You just have to add an extra layer if you go outside. As far as winter goes, it's a misnomer. A lot of people think, oh my gosh, Erie, they get a ton of snow. I think a couple of years ago, we did get a lot of snow. I think we got like 6 feet in 2 days during Christmas. But that's cool. A rarity. Not really. Not when you open your door and the snow's up to your chin. Not really.
That's a white Christmas, man.
That's a little extreme. But when that's such a rarity. I mean, we get, a decent amount of snow. We are protected by the lake, which is kind of neat. If the waters aren't frozen, then that moisture gets picked up and actually goes further south of Erie. However, if the lake freezes over, not completely, but near our area, if the lake freezes, that moisture can't be brought up into the sky and moved. It just drops on us. So it really depends. Our snowfall depends on the lake. So, and a lot of times you'll see on the news that Buffalo and Syracuse, New York, are getting a lot of snow precipitation, and that's because when the winds go from west to east, it carries what could have been in Erie over to the closed end of the lake, and it dumps on Buffalo and Syracuse. So that's my little weather educational tip for you. But as far as winter activities, we do have a lot inside and outside that we offer. Things are a little up in the air right now due to the pandemic, so a lot of our theaters and arts and culture things are struggling to either stay open or get open. But outside winter activities, we do have a fabulous inner tube park, Mount Pleasant Ski Resort. It's in Edinburgh, which is about 20 minutes south of Erie. It's a quick drive, but they have a really neat facility out at Mount Pleasant that offers different trails in the wintertime for skiing, tubing. It's very family friendly. They have a lot of little, events that are, centered around the family or, groups of friends. Now they have to make sure they're socially distanced events, but they still are planning them. We also have a nearby ski resort just on the border of Pennsylvania and New York called Pekin Peak, and that has downhill skiing, tubing, the whole 9 yards. But in addition to that, we have a lot of other outside activities. Sometimes there'll be pop-up skating rinks. They've even done that at Presque Isle. If the weather is cooperative, there's a little pond there. I believe it's not Horseshoe Pond, but it's Waterworks Pond, and that freezes over, and they do public ice skating. So so there is a lot to do all of the seasons, and then of course with spring and summer, beaches are open. The zoo reopens because the zoo is closed during the wintertime, but the zoo reopens, and the public gardens are available again, and there's just it drives me crazy. I'm an Erieite. I've lived here all my life, and it drives me crazy when people say, "Oh, we just come for the beaches because then there's really nothing else to do once the beach is closed." And I just want to shake my fist and say, no, you're wrong. I've got an 80-page visitor guide that tells you otherwise. So,
that's weird because the desert's like that too. They go, don't go to the desert in summer, and actually you have monsoon season, and there's like a whole other growth period of wildflowers and things happening. The sky going, check me out, I'm going to dance for you. But right, Nancy, isn't that weird how we get into that mode?
That statement, "there's nothing to do," is exactly what years and years and years ago made me start a magazine in South Africa because there's all this wildlife, all these things to see and do, and you'd sit and talk to somebody and people who live there who said there's nothing to do. And I'm like, what do you mean? And that's the one thing you find from town to town, from city to city, country to country, continent to continent. There's a segment of people who, for whatever reason, feel like there's nothing to do. And that drives me bonkers because
it's crazy. And a lot of times that comes from the locals. And I myself have been guilty of not saying that specifically, but not taking advantage of all there is to see and do. I'll give you a great example. Presque Isle is right, in my backyard. It's probably a 10-minute drive from my house. I think I went there twice this year. Just
okay.
Well, and that's only because I've been a little anxious about being around people and anybody other than my dog. But there I'll run into people that are local that say, "Oh, I didn't realize that we had so many museums," or "I didn't realize that we had 23 wineries in our region," or 13 microbreweries. I had no idea, and I've lived here for 50 years. So it's fun to educate locals and visitors about everything that our area has to offer, because 9 times out of 10, the locals are like, "Oh my gosh, I never realized that," or I completely forgot about that place. I need to go there. So that's our job, at Visit Erie, is to educate in a fun way of all the different types of adventures every season that anybody can go to.
And
that was my soapbox speech.
But I think this is the beauty of not the beauty of COVID, but COVID did teach people a little bit more about what is your backyard. And our tour started off as being only National Park Service parks, monuments and things, and we realized really quickly over the first few years of our tour that we were documenting all parks, whether it's state or just a community park,
whatever,
where someone can run their dog or go jogging. And we really realized, we need those parks. As we travel, we need a place to stop the car and stretch our legs and have a picnic, And so it just, I think with COVID, it was that immediate thing like, oh my gosh, I'm going to walk. Can I walk somewhere different than my neighborhood every single day? What can I do? And I think Erie, you guys, like I said, you have a different view, whether it's downtown and you can see the history of the industrialized or industrial revolution or Millionaire's Row, where you see all these, amazing mansions and Victorian mansions and like, oh my gosh, the Hagen History Center, the Watson Curtsey Mansion.
Wow.
Are you kidding me?
Isn't that campus gorgeous? Yes.
Oh my gosh.
That's insane. And then the detail. That's the thing. You could spend an hour just outside looking at one house going, look at all the ornate details and go, why don't we do that now? So I think you really have a place that is amazing. We chatted with some of the park rangers, after our interview we did on Presque Isle with Brian, but we chatted with them and I said, well, what about winter? And apparently you guys have windsurfing. Some of these extreme kayakers go out there in the waters. And so there's all these really cool, crazy things that, I think we as the public need to tap into. If maybe you're not going to participate in some crazy winter kayaking on Lake-ERie, but maybe you can watch it and support it and at least, have some hot cocoa in your hands and give it to them when they get out of there.
It is, yes. It is fun to watch, and especially in our bay, Presque Isle Bay, which is on the other side of Lake-ERie. So the peninsula, Presque Isle State Park, divides the lake from Presque Isle Bay. So on Presque Isle Bay in the wintertime, if the conditions are favorable and there's a good amount of ice on the bay, you'll see not only a scattering of ice fishermen, you can also probably see some ice kiting, ice sailing, ice boating. That's fun to watch.
Cool.
I like it. And then now, the other thing that I really love about your town is the public art, and it's something that we actively document town to town, is public art across America. And we thought this was really cool because it's good for the artists, it is good for the community, and it's beautification. for travelers, sometimes that's the way you're going to find out about the history of an area. Yours is really fascinating because you have frogs that I believe were first fish, and then they morphed in. They had a metamorphosis into a frog. And you have also murals and bike racks, and the mural we saw the Commodore Perry is a big deal over there. But some of the murals, even on your bridges, you have street art. I mean, you have it all on public art.
It is everywhere. Yes, the Go Fish project and the Leapfrog Erie project were done years ago, and it was a public art project that various artists paired up with sponsors and designed. There were 2 different designs for the fish, 2 different designs for the frogs, and they all had different themes. They were scattered all over the place, and then when that display ended, some of them were auctioned off, some of them went into private collections, but if you drive around town, you can still see some here or there, and there's still a good conversation starter for people. They're like, what are these? But the murals, they are fun. The murals, we just got through cataloging the best that we could. We've got a total of around 77 to 80 murals throughout Erie. And that's not just the city of Erie. That's in Erie County. So that would be in some of the surrounding towns like Northeast and Edinburgh and Union City and Corey. So the muralists, it's really interesting to read the story, and that's part of what we've been trying to put together. We have a document that we'll be putting up on our website, on our Outdoor Explore page, on, how did these murals come to fruition? What was the inspiration behind them? And some of them are abstract and allow themselves to be interpreted by the viewer, which is also really interesting. So we're going to start, I think in a couple of weeks, encouraging visitors and locals to get out there, make a day or 2 of it, go and find some of these murals and, just appreciate them for the public art that they are. And you also mentioned the interesting looking bike racks that we have downtown. That was actually a partnership, I believe, that the Erie Downtown Partnership initiated with the Erie Art Museum years ago. So you'll still see some funky looking bike racks. I think my favorite one would be outside this market called the Whole Foods Co-op, and the bike rack looks like a big radish. I love it. It's my favorite.
This is so cool. I'm into the bike racks getting cool and funky, and I love that you're such a bicycle friendly community, because that's another big deal. That's part of quality of life. It's healthy. Yes. And, so it seems like you get a lot of travelers that way. So you definitely have the outdoor recreation, nature, bird watching, because you're a huge bird watching destination, visitation. But what about romance? I'm looking at, Spencer House Bed and Breakfast going, okay, like how many B&Bs? Like, do you have like romantic escapes happening and weddings? And I know now weddings are being more intimate kind of thing.
I was going to say weddings are scaling back right now, but we do promote ourselves sometimes if we're not promoting family friendly. We're also promoting romantic getaways. So you mentioned staying at Spencer House, which is absolutely beautiful. It's such a gorgeous place. There's also another bed and breakfast just down the road from Spencer House called the Victoria Inn, and that's right in downtown. That's right on the corner of 4th and State, just a stone's throw from Spencer House. But, in addition to perhaps staying at a bed and breakfast, we also have this really cute little gem of a place called Lakeview on the Lake. It's off Route 5, off the Seaway Trail. It's situated on a cliff that overlooks the lake, and there are stairs that you can go down to this to the shoreline. But Lakeview on the Lake, gathering of little cottages and bungalows, and they're all unique, and they're all like rustic chic in a good way, not like shabby chic. Just absolutely, very cute, perfect for a little getaway if you don't want to stay in a hotel and have people above and beside you. You can have a little private 2-person bungalow, or, if you've got a couple of couples, you can maybe rent one of the larger cottages out there. But we like to promote, in addition to staying at one of those lovely properties, we've got 2 chocolatiers in town. You could make a wine and chocolate
wait a minute.
Getaway.
Hello. Did you say chocolate?
I said the magic word. Yes, I said chocolate. Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, have two chocolatiers, Polacco's Chocolates, which has been in existence for over 100 years. And then we also have a place called Romolo Chocolates, which hasn't been around as long, but both facilities offer, oh my gosh, delectable treats. Polacco's is best known for chocolate-covered strawberries, and Romolo's is known for sponge candy. I don't know if you are familiar with sponge candy.
No.
Sponge candy is, this will be my interpretation. I hope Romolo's isn't listening to this later on, but it's a sponge sugar that's caramelized in a way that looks like, it's very porous looking, and then they cover it with a layer of chocolate.
Yeah. No, it's like
you
a
either
crunchy
love
bar.
it or hate it.
No, it's like a honeycomb.
You either love
almost.
it or hate it.
No, it is good. So we used to have that in England and South Africa, Kenya, because it's all British stuff that we'd get, right? And so you have crunchy bars, and dude, are you kidding me? If I'd know, we have to come back. Seriously, do you know that chocolate goes really well with beer and wine? I'm just gonna say,
chocolate goes well with anything.
Oh my gosh, chocolate! I had no idea. What would you say?
Could cover chocolate with.
Yeah, we went to Courtyard Winery. We went to the brewery, Erie.
Yes.
We had a good time. So we did a little bit of Lake-ERie wine country, a little bit of the ale trail. Good food at the brewery, really good food, and
really good,
huge,
really good
fried pickles, oh my gosh,
really good.
They really give you.
The fried pickles are fantastic.
Here's the pickle. It's not just here's your sliced pickles, deep fried. No. It was really, really good and amazing beer. Courtyard Winery, it was amazing wines. We still keep talking about them.
I was going to say Courtyard makes a Chocopelli wine, dessert wine that is one of my favorites. It's very good. Very good.
We didn't do that. Now we're going to have to see. Now we have to go back.
Now you'll definitely have to come back. We'll pick up a box of chocolates from Polacco's or Romolo's, and we'll go out to Courtyard and have Chocopelli wine. Oh yes.
And we'll get sandwiches from the brew Erie. But now, what would you say about the dining scene? Because we didn't get out. That was the one thing we didn't get a chance to do a whole bunch of because we were filming or drinking wine.
Sure.
What's the dining scene and even shopping? I want to touch on that for people too.
Well, before we touch on that, I do want to give a shout out in addition to romance that we've got some beautiful spas out there too that offer a lot of couples massages. So you can relax with chocolate in one hand, a glass of wine in the other, and have your feet up, getting them pampered or having a nice, massage. So we do have the full package when it comes to romance options.
Very cool. I didn't know about that. So this is the wine and the chocolate. Okay, and the views and the sunsets. Don't forget the sunset because you're not going to see the sunrise.
Romantic getaway.
You're not seeing the sunrise. You're going to be seeing the sunset.
Exactly. So as far as dining and shopping, I'll talk, about dining. Pretty much every destination can say, we've got a wide variety of different cuisines and things like that. And Erie is no different. We have plenty of culinary options, whether it's, if it's French or Italian or Thai. There's just a whole myriad of selections. It's hard to say what my favorites would be. I have my own personal favorites, but I have to be kind to everybody because, I don't want, Chris from the brewery knocking down my door saying, hey,
yes, yeah,
you didn't talk enough about my pickles.
You didn't talk about my train wreck sandwich because he's in the Union Station Depot. But wait, is there something that is, because when we were at his place, what was interesting to us was, that, and actually everywhere we go, there's always this food that is from the border region kind of thing. And he was doing something where it's coleslaw and a sandwich with something like, the Pittsburgh thing.
It's similar to a Permani sandwich,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And a Permani sandwich it's originated from Pittsburgh. It's got usually a vinegar-based coleslaw, fresh cut fries, and then whatever meats and cheeses you want. But
that's what we had.
Brewery is called the Pittsburgher or something like that. Yes.
Okay. So do you have like an Erie food that people know about, or is it just because it seems to me that you're so multicultural as well from your roots, the history. Yeah, so I mean, you could get pierogies in one place, and it's all a blend.
Yes. One of the things, we have a couple different food products that are related to Erie. One would be, it's called a Smith hot dogs. Smith's Provisions is based in Erie, and their hot dogs in the natural casings, they've got that nice snap when you cook them or grill them. They are just fantastic. So a person from Erie will say, you got to have a Smith's footlong down at Sarah's Diner, which is right at the entrance to Presque Isle. Smith's is just an intrinsic part of Erie's food heritage. So people that have moved away will order Smith's and have them shipped to them.
Oh,
and so they're fantastic. And, Smith's is served, I think it's the official hot dog of the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Pittsburgh Penguins hockey team. It's also the official hot dog of our baseball team, which is the Erie Seawolves. Unfortunately, their season was canceled this year. They're a AA minor league team of the Detroit Tigers, but their official hot dog is Smith's. So that's one product that we can say, that's from Erie. They're made in Erie, and you won't be buying any other kind of hot dog. And if you do, you're not an Erieite. That's my humble opinion. Smith's are the best.
Well, we missed that.
Good. The others,
you got to come back.
See another reason for you to come back. Yes.
Yeah.
I'd say the other thing that people can relate to when it comes to Erie would be a pepperoni ball. I don't know if you all are familiar with the pepperoni ball.
No.
It is a fried ball of dough, although sometimes it's baked, and it is stuffed with a real good amount of pepperoni. And there are several places in the area that make them. Sometimes they just make them to sell, like for fundraisers and things, but you can get pepperoni balls at a lot of our local restaurants. Most of them are made either from Stanganelli's in Erie or International Bakery in Erie, and they're fantastic. But I grew up with pepperoni balls, so when I come across people that aren't familiar with them, it just blows my mind, because I thought they were, just a staple that everybody
knew
about.
But no, I want one.
I know. They're good.
Oh my gosh, I'm already wanting them with like a cheese sauce or melted cheese. Like,
here you go. You got your hot dog and your pepperoni ball. You got baseball. You got a ball in a bat.
Apparently you guys need protein out there. It's cold. Get it. Oh my gosh. So this is like fun food to me. What you're talking about is like, this is fun. And I know we'll get to the shopping part, but to me, this sounds also, like I was saying, like the beachy kind of atmosphere when on your way into Presque Isle. You're like, we took the boat ride, the Lady Kate boat ride. Everyone should do that.
So much fun.
Really, so
Isn't
much
that
fun.
wonderful?
The knowledge you will get. I think it's there's two things. Go to Presque Isle, take that boat tour, and then go to the Hagen History Center at the beginning of your trip, because you will get the lay of the land and understand the roots and everything. But
definitely. The folks at the Lady Kate do a great job. They really do.
Awesome. And I would say that you guys are family friendly, because you've got pepperoni balls. Like, what kid doesn't want a pepperoni ball? Like, I do.
Really.
And then, chocolate. But also you got like the park and everything. So I would say like family friendly. I like Asbury Woods. That would be a place I would take my kids. Obviously Presque Isle, but Asbury Woods too, because of the environmental. Got also the the Tom Ridge Educational Center, the environmental center. So you've got a lot for kids, but I do want to give a shout out to Asbury Woods, because I thought that, and you can get married
that was
there.
Special.
That was a special place on our list that I just
It really is. It really is.
Amazing.
Now that they've added a lot to that facility, and they redid the Nature Center some years back. They just added. They redid their boardwalk, and just recently this year they put in an outdoor ropes, obstacle, team building type of course. But Asbury Woods they're very unique in how they offer different programs. They have a honey festival coming up. I think it's from hive to honey. Typically it's a honey harvest festival, but they've had it altered a little bit this year. But they do a honey festival. They do a maple syrup festival. They do a Winter Wonderland Christmas exhibit where they light up the boardwalk. It really is a special place, and a lot of people, again, that's another attraction that I think a lot of locals, either don't think about or don't know about.
And I love their boardwalk. I really do, because it's wide.
Beautiful.
And I like the wider boardwalk. And now today, in this climate that we're, having to kind of be aware of each other, it's nice to have a wider boardwalk.
Well, and not only that, they did that to be ADA accessible as well, because a lot of our, visitors are not completely, they either can't walk or they have, some type of mobility issue. So having that wider boardwalk allows, anybody to get on there and just explore and get into the woods and experience that beautiful nature that they have.
It's so cool there.
And you can go cross country skiing there too, and put snowshoes on and stuff on their trails.
And I've done the snowshoeing. Yes, that is fun. They do have skis and shoes for rent there. You don't have to have your own, and you can go out with a naturalist, or you can go out on your own. And I actually did the snowshoeing one year, and I can honestly say, once you get the hang of it, it's not that bad. And it really, they give you poles too, so you're not, like a windsock wobbling all over the place. But it was a lot of fun.
Cool.
I want to do that.
I know that's something we've always never said we want to do.
We're really lame about the snow, and so like by the time we left Erie, we're like,
not used to it.
and we're like, we can do this. We need to do it. I mean, we've lived in the mountains. We know how to make fires. We know how to do some things. We've been around snow, but not like your snow. And it just seems like a magical experience. I mean, there's what they do, the maple syrup thing and the sugar shack and everything in Asbury Woods. I want to see that. I mean, that's like Little House on the Prairie magic. I'm like, I remember reading about that, going, I want to make maple syrup. So it's all this cool stuff that you guys have that you just don't see everywhere around the country. This is very unique, and I think Nancy and I both were like, we're in another country. It's like literally, like it feels like
it felt like it.
But it's really it's part of the roots of America, and you're tied to Civil War history, like we were saying. You're tied to so many different things that have connect across our country. It was interesting when we were at the Hagen History Center how they were talking about all these things that were created. I mean, whether it's cast iron, where for your kitchen, and all these things. And we've been in the West for so long that we were receiving all of this stuff, and we knew the railroads brought it over. But to actually be in the place where all of these things were created and invented and then manufactured is this whole other piece of history that I think a lot of Americans should go just for that, to understand where everything started to happen way back when. But and for kids, that's going back to this kids and the family friendly. I think, I mean, for families, obviously Presque Isle, the beaches, Asbury Woods, but you've got when we were at the Tom Ridge, it is Tom Ridge, right? Did I get that right? Because I keep
right. Tom Ridge Environmental Center. We call it Trek.
Okay, good. Yeah, they let us up at the top of the tower. We got special permission.
That was cool.
And because you know why? We have a sock monkey who's our travel mascot. So anyone with a sock monkey gets special permission. But anyway,
perfect
we get to
opportunity.
Over there we could see your big that giant theme park that looks like when I was talking about that iconic beach. I want to be a kid with cotton candy, and now
cotton candy. Yes.
and your pepperoni balls now.
Yes.
What is that?
Well, and just so your listeners know, normally people can go up to the top of the observation tower at the Tom Ridge Environmental Center. It's closed right now because of COVID-19. But once things go back to normal, you don't have to get permission to go up to the top. It's free. Admission to Trek is free, and yes, it gives expansive views of Waldameer Amusement Park. And Waldameer is one of the oldest amusement parks in the country. They are going to be celebrating, I believe it's their 100th anniversary next year.
Wow.
I'm not sure if they're actually going to celebrate, because they've had to really, deal with a lot during the pandemic. Weren't able to open completely, et cetera. But it does lend itself. That's a perfect picturesque view. When you see from the top of the Tom Ridge Center, and you see, Lake-ERie, and then you see the coaster you're referring to is the Ravine Flyer, which it just has a huge hill that you won't catch me on, but I'm sure the views from there are just as breathtaking. But Waldemere is actually German for park among the woods, and it's beautifully landscaped, wonderful, family-friendly amusement park, family-owned, locally owned, and they are continually adding on to the park, whether it's an aspect of their water world, or if it's the amusement park itself. They have a lot of picnic groves and picnic shelters where they welcome family reunions and churches and different organizations. And again, this year was a little different, and they had to scale back quite a bit. But when they're running full steam ahead, from May to September, they really, really bring in the crowds, families
cool.
and good friends and, all that. So, yeah, I'm glad you guys had a chance to at least see what was over there.
That's awesome.
And
now,
they do have cotton candy.
Oh, that's it.
Yay.
Thank you. I'm happy now. I mean, are you kidding me? I'm happy now. But I do want some cotton candy now, and I feel like, okay, let's go have some fun. But shopping, if I don't cover shopping, I know some of our travel writer friends are going to yell at us.
Yep.
If we don't
Nope.
cover shopping.
Not a problem. Well, again, like most areas, there's a big mall. So we do have what's called the Mill Creek Mall, has over 135 stores, satellite plazas, and various restaurants. But the cool thing about Erie and Pennsylvania as a whole is there's no sales tax on clothing. So we get a lot of we get a lot of travelers from New York and Ohio because they have sales tax. We don't. So they'll come in literally bus by the busload to shop at the mall, at our we have a lot of different plazas, unique plazas scattered throughout the area, in addition to some really cool, not your average type of store. We've got a wonderful beach glass jewelry gallery called Relish that is locally owned. Jennifer Reed, she's a wonderful person and has, whenever I go into her store, I never walk out of there empty-handed. It's handcrafted beach glass jewelry. Very, very
cool.
nice. Downtown Erie, I don't know if you saw it amongst your travels, but there's another little shop called Glass Growers. It's near our art museum. That's another little funky, they love local artists and sell local artists' crafts and, different, pottery and paintings and little, knickknacks and unique gifts. But for the most part, they are local friendly, as far as who they sell. So we have a lot of little stores, scattered all throughout the area, not just downtown, a lot of unique plazas in addition to our mall.
Wow. Okay.
Cool.
So the mall
in a
sounds big
nutshell.
too. So
Cool.
it's clothes. Clothes have no sales tax. This is something new.
That's there's
new.
no tax on clothing or apparel. So that would be shoes too. So throughout Pennsylvania, it's quite the hook that we have when we're promoting the shopping aspect to potential visitors.
I'm making notes. I'm actually typing this right now, just saying.
Yeah,
everybody know this because I think people, you want to save as much as you can, but it's really, really cool and unique. The other thing I noticed, talking about free, your state parks are free in Pennsylvania. That's amazing.
That.
Yeah.
Yes, I can't speak to all of the state parks in Pennsylvania, but ours is definitely free. Is definitely free to get in. I don't know if they all are. I don't believe they are, and I don't want to misspeak.
Yeah.
But Presque Isle is the largest state park in Pennsylvania. It's also the most visited state park in Pennsylvania. And here's something really interesting that I bet you didn't know about Presque Isle. First of all, Presque Isle is French for almost an island because it's a peninsula, not an island. It's still connected to the mainland. But Presque Isle gets an average of 4 million visitors each year, which is more than Yellowstone.
Wow.
It's a lot. However, and I want people to know you can socially distance there. So when you hear these big numbers, don't freak out. Yeah, go get in the water and that's it. No, get in the kayak.
No, like I
there's
said,
kayaking, there's cycling. We were totally fine. People, if they were around people, wore a mask. I mean, you can go have your own little corner of the beach, and it really feels like you're at the beach. The seagulls will come and say, "Where's my food? You got French fries for me?" So really, the social distancing in Erie is pretty easy, and like there's things like the public art you can do and everything. So the bed and breakfast, like Spencer House, they were really good about it. So I think people are taking it seriously when you travel. The lodging and the dining and the shopping and the attractions and activities, everybody wants to stay open. And a lot of them are limited in what they can do. Like Spencer House has to leave. They leave their rooms open for 24 hours before they let the next guest in, just to air out. They don't have to do it, but they do it. So everybody is trying really, really hard. We've traveled across from California, Arizona to Erie. Now we're in Florida today as we record this, and we're going to Georgia when this airs. But, that's the thing. We've traveled, and I'll tell you, every bed and breakfast, every town is doing their best to keep their community safe and balance visitorship and keep businesses open. So I'm just saying, you guys did awesome.
We are. Yes, thank you. Yeah. I appreciate you saying that. Yes, we have tried to highlight to our Facebook page different partners of ours, whether it's a hotel, restaurant, or a shop, and what safety protocols they're putting in place. And everybody's different, but there's a lot of similarities. Obviously, safety and cleanliness is priority number one right now. Some stores are just offering, private appointments or, curbside pickup, but, and the restaurants are doing their darndest to stay afloat during, there's different restrictions for every state, but for Pennsylvania right now, the restaurants are operating at 25% capacity until September 21st, where they go to 50% capacity. They still have outdoor dining available as well, but it's tough, and I have to give them all credit because, Erie's a fairly large city. We're the fourth largest city in Pennsylvania, and we're doing below normal when it comes to the number of COVID infections that we're reporting. So we're still obviously everybody is touched by this awful, awful virus, but the numbers that we have, I think, is a good reflection of the care our businesses and our residents are trying to take to make it a safe place, a safe destination. Now, you still have your pockets where there's issues, and crowds gather and all that. But I really think that the low numbers that Erie and Erie County is reporting is a lot lower than similar-sized cities in Pennsylvania, but, obviously smaller than Pittsburgh and Philadelphia because those are just much, much larger cities. But I think it's a great testament to the hard work and attention that our partners are paying attention to. And I'm looking forward to when things can get back to a little more better sense of normalcy. But in the meantime, I believe all of our hotels, attractions, restaurants, and shops are doing more than, they're going above and beyond. They're doing great.
Awesome. And the general public has their own part in all of this. The more we all do what we're supposed to be doing, the quicker it goes away.
Exactly.
So
I firmly believe that. Yes.
Yeah. So
and that's important.
It's on all of us. It's
important. As traveling, you don't want to hurt another community. Yeah, you don't want to hurt another community. We're very diligent as what we do is traveling, and the last thing we want to do is bring it into a community, So
yes, and I think that's a common fear. More visitors might mean more potential cases of COVID. I know I even myself had that concern when this first started early on in late March and April. I said, oh my gosh, what is Visit Erie as a destination? What are we going to do? Our bread and butter is promoting people to come to our area and stay in our hotels. So it was challenging, but we were able to, and still are, slowly moving forward and inching towards more getting more people in and trying to say, yes, people are still going to come to Erie. People are still going to enjoy our beaches and all the other aspects that we have to offer. But again. It's a testament to the general public and also to our partners. Do your part.
Yeah,
Do your part. Stay safe.
Exactly.
Do your part and party, dude. No, have a good time. Have a good time.
No.
Party, no, none of that kind of crazy party, but have a good time. Have a good time. Yeah, no, have a good time. Have a good time. And go to everybody. Visit Erie.com is the website, and it's ERIE. When we say Erie, not like, Halloween's, ooh.
Not the spooky Erie.
Yeah, it's
That's
different
so
Erie.
funny.
I have to say it's fall. So everyone, visit Erie, ERIE.com. And also I want to give a shout out to the Spencer House Bed and Breakfast, because we kept trying to get there, and it was like suddenly, we could do this detour to get here. And they kept emailing us going, I know you're interested in coming to B&B and Presque Isle, but we have this. Mm-hmm. And then I'd get another email from Steve and Lisa, do you know we have this? And I'm like, okay, all right. So
they
I'm really glad.
Great ambassadors. They are wonderful.
Yes, they are. Absolutely.
And we got to say hi to Bailey. They're an awesome dog, too.
Yes.
So everyone, their website is SpencerHouseBandB.com for bed and breakfast, SpencerHouseBandB.com. We want to close our segment today with, because it's the fall season, here's a song, and we talked about winter a lot, a song called Fall Winter by Yagull, and they're based up in New York City, so not too far from you on the Lake-ERie Trail, right, on that beautiful scenic trail you're talking about. This is from their album.
New York City is about an 8-hour drive.
Okay, well that's
it's
a lot,
little
but
further.
Okay, but you got Buffalo near you and all that, but
we do. Buffalo,
8 hours is
Pittsburgh
nothing to us.
Hours,
I'm just saying.
That's right.
Well, 8 hours is a little detour, but Yago was on our show with their album Yuma, and you can see that on blendradioandtv.com, or just go to their website yagull.com, and part of their name is part of being seagull. And there's lots of seagulls in Erie. So here it is, fall, winter. Thank you all for joining us, and keep up with us at bigblendradio.com. Here it is. Take care, Chris. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Thank you.
You take care.
Bye-bye.